Good afternoon, champions. So I hope you had a great weekend. So welcome to another week of trading and analyzing markets. So in today I'm going to be analyzing NAS 100 together with the US30, and also we're also going to touch on one pair, and that is GBP card, and then we will call it a day. So let me just kickstart my analysis with GBP card. So GBP card, let me start from the weekly time frame so that you can have a general view of what has been happening recently. So you can see that GBP card, you have got this upward movement, or you can say it is an uptrend that has been going on for some times now. And you can see that we had attached to the downside here. Then the markets moved generally to the upside up to this point. Then we had a general movement to this other side where we had attached the downside. Also, you should bear in mind that this is a very strong point of consolidation. So you can see that here we have got a very strong point of consolidation. You can see that the markets are moving from this point of resistance here to the point of support that is below here. So that's why you should also bear in mind that as the markets are still moving on an upward trend, you have got this point of consolidation. That this point of consolidation is reinforced by this trend line that is here. You can see that the markets are trying their best to respect this trend line. You can see we had a touch here and we also had a touch here. And whenever you can see that whenever we have got those touches, the market always move to the downside to this particular point of support. You can see here and also at this point here. So generally, we are currently experiencing an upward trend. So let me just move to the daily time frame. Now, looking from the daily time frame, we have got a downward movement. You can see here that we have got this downward trend, or rather a bearish trend, that is the movement to the downside. Also putting in mind that at the point in which we are in right now, we are also at a point of consolidation. You can see this strong point of consolidation where the markets have been moving. You can see that at this point the market moved to the upside, then after touching that point of resistance moved to the downside, then after touching this point of support moved to the upside, created this small point of support, moved up to for a retest, and then moved down again to another point of support here. And you can see that there was a touch also again to this point of resistance. Currently the market are moving toward the downside. You can see this actually means that this area, it is a very a strong area of resistance. So generally, because this is a downward trend, and you can see that after having this chart, touch, let me start from, you can see that after having this touch to this trend line below here, we also had another touch to this trend line that is above here. Though we experienced some small consolidation, and then we had a breakout to the downside, that is, and then we had a touch to this trend line. Now, after experiencing some small consolidation, you can see that we have also had a touch to this trend line here. So currently, you can see that I've got a short position. So currently, you can see that I'm expecting a breakout to the downside to this point of support before markets move further to the downside. Okay, moving on now to the hourly time frame. I will start from the 4 hour. Now, from the 4 hour, you can see that we have got a kind of an uptrend. I don't know if you're able to understand that we have got from the weekly time frame, we have got an upward trend, but from the daily time frame, we have got a downward trend. But then when we move to the hourly time frame, you can see that we have got kind of an upward trend. But let me explain something when it comes to the hourly time frame. So when it comes to the hourly time frame, you can see that you have been having several touches to the upside, or to this point of resistance here, which is a very strong point of resistance. You can actually view it. So you can see that this is a very strong point of resistance here. um, the last week we had several movement to the upside. That is, you can see that we had a move to the upside to this trend line that is here, and then the market started moving towards the downside. So you can see that currently the market are still moving towards the downside. You can see this short position that I am in currently. Actually, I'm in this trade. So I'm expecting that the markets are going to move to the downside to this point of support, because judging from previous movements, you can see whenever the market touch this point of resistance, even though they may create a breakout to the upside, but they still come down to this point. Let me explain something before moving on to other things. So let me extend this point of support. You can see that whenever markets make a movement to this point of, of resistance, the market must always come to touch this point of support. You can see that at this area, it was able to make a breakout to the downside, that is, but then move on to the upside. Then after touching again this area of resistance, they came down to this point of support. Then again, after touching this point of resistance, it came down to this point of support, that is here, generally this point. Then you can see that after moving, then from last week we have had this nice pattern where we had retest to this point of support again, and then we had a clear breakout to the upside, but then we had a small correction. So you can see that currently the market are moving towards the downside, and that's why you can see that I've got this correction, because I'm expecting that the markets are going to come to this point of support. So now let us move to the hourly time frame. Now from the hourly time frame, you can see that you have got this nice uptrend here, where you have got this very good point of support, which has now is behaving as a point of resistance. So you can see that since it acted also as a point of resistance at this area, you can see that we have had several retests here. So you can see that those retests before markets, you can see now markets are making a clear breakout to the downside, so they are moving out of these two trend lines. So let me just zoom out so that you can be able to see. So you can see that the markets are actually moving out of, they are making a breakout below this particular trend line. So that is a good sign. If the market will be able to create a clear breakout to the downside, that is, then we are looking for opportunities for the market to move down to these areas here, where I am just risking a total of 350 pips for a total reward of around 1000 pips. Okay, that is it for GBP card. So I'd like us to move to US30. So US30, okay. For those who have been trading for some times now, you realize that the US30 has got some similarities to NAS 100. So there are particular patterns that may look the same for US30 and also for NAS 100. That's why currently we are expecting in both indices. I'm expecting that the markets are generally going to move towards the downside. That is, so let us just start from the weekly time frame. Now, from the weekly time frame, we are having a general upward trend. That's why. So I know you're able to see it. So there is no much to say when it comes to the weekly time frame. So let us move to the daily time frame. So now from the daily time frame, you can also see that we have got an upward trend still, but it will be well explained when we will be moving to lower time frames. Okay, so let me correct that. Yeah. So let's just go straight to the hourly time frame. Now, from the hourly time frame, you can see that you have got this beautiful upward trend or an upward movement, that is the move to the upside. But then the market has been respecting this point of resistance that is above here. You can see this strong point of resistance. So the market have been respecting it. You can see that we have two trials to make a breakout, but then it was unable to be achieved. So the markets are now currently moving to the downside. So this is a very clear, a strong point of support here, which I'm expecting that in the long run the markets are going to move to this point of support here before further trying out another attempt to break to the upside. So if I may zoom in, you can see that we on several occasions we have had uptrends. So you can see that here we had an upward trend, that is the move to the upside. But then we can see that we had, after a test to this point of resistance here, the markets started making new patterns. You can see that we had attached to that trend line before having attached to this trend line here. You can see that we also had another attach to this trend line, go to this point of resistance where we had a clear breakout to the downside. That is, we came to this point of support, small resistance, but then they were able to make a breakout to the downside. That is, had a shallow touch to this point of support before market moved to the upside, started creating these beautiful patterns that you can see here. So currently we are on an upward trend where we have been experiencing some several touches on this trend line that is above here. So let us just go on to the let's move to the hourly time frame so that you can have a clear view. So this is what I was trying to say, that you can see that here we had a touch to this trend line that is below here, a move to the upside, had a touch to this trend line that is above here, move to the downside, had a touch to this trend line, a move to the upside again, had another touch to this trend line that is above here. So from now this time we have been experiencing a lot of touches to the trend line that is above here. So currently you can see that I've placed in that is a short position, that is a move to the downside, because I'm expecting that markets are going to move from their current market area where they are, and then we are going to experience a breakout to the downside. You can see that I've placed in a sell stop. That means that when I get into this trade, when the market get into this position, automatically I'll be getting into this trade with a sell position. That is, then I'm expecting that the markets are going to come to this point of support before making a breakout to the downside. That is, then I'm expecting that when they come to this point of support again, we are going to have some small consolidation. This is because of you can see that here we have got also some small consolidation here from the previous movement. Now from this point, I'm expecting that the markets are going to create a completion to this point of support that is below here. So I'm still waiting. Hopefully, I'll be sending this signal to the Telegram channel for those that are in the Telegram channel, and also the Telegram group, and also the WhatsApp group. Now, to finish off my analysis, let me just talk. Let us just jump in to the NAS 100. So I told you previously that I've got a short position in both the NAS 100 and the US30. So from the weekly time frame, we still have got an upward trend on the NAS 100. When it comes to the daily time frame, we have still got this upward trend, but then we have got also this point of resistance. The same point of resistance that we were experiencing in US30 is the same point of resistance that we are also experiencing on the NAS 100. So you can see that you have got two touches. So there are this first touch that is here, and also this second touch that is here, and then the market started moving towards the downside. So if I may move into the hourly time frame, you can see now from the hourly time frame, you can see that the markets have been moving in between these two trend line. That is the trend line that is here, and also the trend line that is here. In between, you have got a strong point of support like this. So you can see that this is a very strong point of support, and also you have got a very strong point of resistance for the case of these areas that are here. Okay. So currently, since we are in this strong point of support that is in these areas, we are expecting a downward movement, but the downward movement again must be over. As in, I should get first of all a sure signal that the markets are moving toward the downside, because sometimes the NAS 100 may be somehow tricky, because currently from this point of resistance here, the NAS 100 can come to this point of support here, and then they may tend to move again to this point of resistance that is on top of this point here. That's why you can see that I've placed in my position that is below. So I'm still looking for. I will be lowering my sell stop. That is, so I'll be lowering my sell stop to around those position, just to make sure that when the markets get into this position, it will be a sure sign that the markets are prepared, or they are willing to move towards the downside. And for NAS 100, will be risking a total of around 60 pips. Yeah, 60 pips for a total reward of 287 pips. Now for NAS 100, I will advise you not to use the lot size 0.01. You can move to a higher lot size like 0.05, mainly because we have got short position when it comes to the NAS 100. And as you all know that when it comes to short position, the only thing that you can do for you to be able to earn more profit is just by increasing your lot size. But then the other thing that I wanted also to explain is that don't use big leverage. Please use a leverage of 1 is to 50. And also make sure that whenever you get into a trade, your stop loss and your take profit are always in place. So that is it that I had for you for this week. So we are looking for more selling opportunities for the whole of this week when it comes to NAS 100, more buying opportunities for those that have analyzed the GBPUSD. For GBPUSD and the AUDUSD, you can see that we have got an upward trend. This is because you have got the market have touched a very strong point of support. So we are looking for more buying opportunities. You can see that I've placed in my long position, and also the AUD USD. You have got still the same pattern. So I'm looking for more buying opportunities. Also for the Euro USD, I'm looking for more buying opportunities. So that is all that I had for you. May you continue having a great week, and may the pips always be with you.